Arsenal vs Brighton kickstarts the most difficult period of Arsenal's season for sure. And in this game, we could be without one of our best players. But don't worry, because there's some Brighton news that's coming out that I think boost Arsenal's chances of winning this game massively. But not just that, we got so much to talk about in this video. But before we get into it, if you do enjoy this daily Arsenal content, just do me a favour and give me a thumbs up on this video. So let's get into it. So before we get into my thoughts and what I've heard, I want to hear people's thoughts on this game, because I think there's two ways of looking at it. Do you think that Arsenal are in such a good run of form that we're just going to turn up to Brighton and swat them away easily? We're going to win the 3 points easily? Or do you see this game as maybe a potential banana skin? Look, listen, it's a difficult game, but there's reasons in this video that I'm going to go through that may put your mind at rest and make you feel a little bit more comfortable when we go into that game tomorrow against Brighton. I mean, we've only just played. It feels like we played Man City yesterday. And since then, we've played Luton. And then again tomorrow, we play Brighton. I love having this much football. But of course, it puts stress on players. And that's why our first discussion is going to be about Bukayo Saka. Because what do you do in that situation? Is Bukayo Saka going to miss the game? Is Bukayo Saka going to be ready? We don't know. Mikel Arteta, of course, is not going to let anything slip before he has to. But I think it's important for us to have a discussion on Bukayo Saka because, listen, if Bukayo Saka is, say, 70%, do you risk him in a game like this? Because I've seen the people's opinions on this matter. Yes, you need to play your best team. So for that reason, we have to play Bukayo Saka if he's at a level where he should be able to play. In my opinion, I don't risk him. Like I said, I've got reasons coming up that might put your mind at risk. But for me, I don't risk Saka in this game. We've got far more bigger games coming up and probably harder games, let's be honest. Look, we play Brighton. Just listen to our next set of games, okay? Listen how difficult this is going to be. So we got Brighton away, then we got Bayern Munich, Aston Villa, then Bayern Munich away, then Wolves away, then Chelsea, then Tottenham away. So you can't be taking a 70% Bukayo Saka into this Brighton game with the teams of killers that are coming after this game. Saka needs to be in a state where he's 100%. If that means resting him for the Brighton game, I do it. Brighton are also missing some players. I just listened to De Zerbi's press conference. They're without Ferguson. They're without Mitoma. So they're missing maybe two of their best players. So for us to rest Bukayo Saka, for me, wouldn't be the end of the world. Not just because they're missing players as well, but because I think, listen, Brighton are a good team. But even if we're missing Saka and we have to play Jesus or Trossard on that side, Arsenal should still be good enough to go to Brighton and get the 3 points. Like I said, I understand when people say we have to be playing our best team. But I think even with Saka being rested for this game, Arsenal are more than capable of doing it, okay? So, look, we know Brighton's a good team, yeah? No one could deny that. But this isn't the same Brighton that it was last season. Just look at their last 5 results. They drew 0-0 with Brentford. They lost 2-1 to Liverpool. They won 1-0 against Nottingham Forest. They lost 3-0 against Fulham. And they drew 1-1 with Everton. So like I said, let's not pretend that this is the same Brighton of last season. They are still a good team. They're sitting in 9th position. They're still above teams like Chelsea. They're only 1 point behind Newcastle. So this game won't be a walkover. But for many reasons, I think Arsenal can go to this game with confidence and imprint our style of play on the game and walk away with 3 points. Like I said, they've not played up to the level that they was last season. They were 6th last season. You know, they was in the European spaces. So far, they're kind of battling to try and get into them European spaces. They're sitting 9th. And they do have some big players out, like I said. But they do have some dangerous players as well. You know, we can't pretend that they've got no players at all, because I actually like some of their players. And to be fair, I would even take a couple of their players at Arsenal, okay? Listen to some of their players they got. Estupiñán, brilliant left back. I think he's very, very good. They got Gross in midfield. And João Pedro, the striker, I think he's brilliant. 22-year-old Brazilian striker. He scored 19 goals this season. He's a very, very good player. So there's still things we need to be aware of. But Arsenal, with the players they have, with the way that we've been playing, should be able to rock up to Brighton. Like I said, 9th position Brighton and take the 3 points home. Are we going to have it all our own way? Probably not. But the thing that gives me added confidence is our defence. And Brighton this season haven't been known as a team, as a collective, to be banging in the goals this season. They've got a +5 goal difference. So they've basically let in the same amount as they've scored. And it isn't a terribly high number in terms of their goals scored. we still have to go there and show Brighton respect. They still do have a style of play that they play under De Zerbi that can cause teams problem. But if you're wanting a score prediction, and I want to hear your score predictions as well, I probably say Arsenal win this game 2-0. Like I said, I'm not going to get carried away. I'm not expecting Arsenal to go there and win 5-6-0. Do I think we have the ability to do that? Of course, we're one of the best teams in the league at the minute, and Brighton aren't one of the best teams in the league at the minute. So yes, we do have the ability to go there and score a few goals. But if I'm being honest, I think 2-0 is a fair scoreline. I was stuck between 2 or 3-0, and I kind of just gave Brighton the benefit of the doubt. You know, they are at home, they are a good side, but I do still think they're going to struggle to score against Arsenal. 2-0 for me is a fair scoreline. Let me know your scoreline in the comment section. So now we're going to get into the questions and thoughts of you guys. So the first one is from David Cummins, and he said, does ML Smith-Rowe have a future? Odegaard is flagging a bit. We need Odegaard for Champions Leagues. What do I think of that? Do I think ML Smith-Rowe has a future at Arsenal? Yes. But if you asked me that question 2 months ago, the answer probably would have been no, because we haven't seen him for large parts of this season. You know, and when someone doesn't play, it leaves you thinking, how are they going to break into this squad? When we're playing so well, when we're so good defensively, so good in midfield and so good in an attacking sense, where's ML Smith-Rowe going to fit in? But then you come to a game like Luton, where you have to rotate players. ML Smith-Rowe comes in and puts in a man of the match performance. And that's all it takes for your mind to be changed, because now you've seen evidence that this player can provide your team with something that's different. And I do think ML Smith-Rowe offers Arsenal something different. I think he's technical like an Odegaard. I also think he's quite combative. I also think he's quite physical. We saw with the way that he tackled Townsend in the box. We saw with the way that he won the ball back for Arsenal's first goal. So I do think ML Smith-Rowe has a future. Do I think he's going to be able to get into the starting lineup? If I'm being honest, probably no. But not every single player that you're going to have in your squad is obviously going to be a starting 11. And ML Smith-Rowe, for me, is good enough to have on the bench, and he's a brilliant option to bring on. Like I said, he's tricky. The 1-2s he plays, his movement, very, very good. He's got a good football brain. So for that reason, I would keep ML Smith-Rowe for at least another season to see how he gets on. Let me know your thoughts on that. And the second question was from Buzz. And it said, when will some fans get it? We need to start rotating. There are now big, big games coming. And listen, I get what Buzz is saying for sure. Buzz, there's massive games coming. But in terms of rotation, I don't see us rotating too much. I know we're going to be playing every 2 or 3 games, but you're probably going to have to play for these next set of fixtures your best 11. I think, like I said, with the Brighton game, maybe that's the last game that you can look at and think, right, Saka, you need a bit more rest, so we're going to leave you out of this one. But after that, like I said, you've got Bayern Munich, Aston Villa, Bayern Munich, you've got Chelsea, Tottenham coming up. So there's not going to be much space left for rotation. Now, it's still going to be important to use the substitutes for the game. And I do think people do struggle to realise that you can't play your best 11 every single week, especially if you're playing every 2 or 3 games. So I get what Buzz is saying there. There probably will be selections at times where you're thinking, oh my God, we're playing Wolves, and maybe an ML Smith-Rowe starts, or maybe someone else starts, and you're thinking, wow, is this the right decision? But I think Mikel Arteta has shown that he should have that trust in us now. You know, he's made so many good decisions for this club that when he does decide to start someone that maybe we all don't necessarily agree with, I think we now have to put our trust in him, because Mikel Arteta has earned that. But let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. What are you expecting from that Brighton game? Like I said, could it be a banana skin? Are you expecting us to go there and win fairly comfortably? And what's your score prediction? Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, do me the favour of giving me a thumbs up. It helps the channel massively. So just like it and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.